The 13th annual Galactic Pet Exhibition was, by all accounts, supposed to be a dignified affair. Supposed to be. I'm Vrix, Senior Coordinator for Interspecies Animal Showcase events, and I've seen some weird stuff in my 400 rotations. But nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, prepared me for what happened when the humans decided to participate. Let me set the scene for you. The exhibition hall on Station Praxis 9 was packed. We're talking shoulder to tentacle to wing packed. Every species in the known galaxy had brought their absolute finest, most terrifying specimens. The Kralix delegation strutted in with a doom render, this massive creature with 6 rows of teeth and acid spit that could melt through hull plating. Impressive. Terrifying. Exactly what you'd expect. The Volturi brought a thunder beast. Thing was the size of a cargo shuttle, could generate enough electrical current to power a small city, and had a temperament that made hurricanes look calm. Beautiful specimen, really. Made the viewing stands shake when it walked. Even the usually peaceful Nimbari showed up with something called a mind shredder, which was both as unpleasant as it sounds and somehow worse. 3 eyes, all of them looking at you with hungry intelligence, calculating exactly how many ways it could disassemble your consciousness. This was the level we were operating at. This was the standard. The most dangerous, most formidable, most absolutely terrifying creatures that evolution and selective breeding could produce across dozens of worlds. The prize, a stellar crown and bragging rights for an entire solar cycle, went to whoever brought the fiercest predator. Then the humans arrived. Captain Marcus Webb walked into the registration area with a small carrying case. Small. Like, you could fit it under your arm small. I looked at it. I looked at him. I looked at my assistant, Pleb, who had gone completely still in that way Gelthans do when they're confused. Captain Webb, I said, maintaining my professional composure despite the growing sense that something was very wrong. Welcome to the exhibition. I trust your entry is, in the containment unit. The human smiled. Oh, that smile. That specifically human expression, that could mean anything from genuine pleasure to impending disaster. I've learned to fear that smile. Sure is, he said, patting the case. Got her right here. Huh. He said her. The doom render was an it. The thunder beast was an it. But the human had brought a her. Captain, I need to verify the safety protocols. What species have you brought? A cat, he replied, like this explained everything. Like this was completely reasonable. Like he hadn't just walked into the galaxy's premier dangerous predator competition, with something that fit in a box you could carry onto public transport. Pleb made a noise that roughly translated to, "You've got to be kidding me." A cat, I repeated slowly. You do understand this is a competition for the fiercest predators in known space, correct? The most dangerous animals our respective civilizations can produce. Yep, Webb said, still with that smile. I read the rules. Twice, actually. No size restrictions, no species restrictions, just has to be a predator from our homeworld. Well, technically adapted predator, since we've been breeding them for about 10,000 years, but still definitely predators. I pulled up the registration database. He was technically correct. The worst kind of correct. The rules had never specified a minimum size, because who in their right mind would bring something small to a fierce predator competition? Humans. That's who. Humans would do exactly that. Fine, I said, making a note to revise the rules for next year. Assuming there was a next year. Assuming we all survived this. Please proceed to staging Area 7. Your presentation slot is in 2 standard hours. He thanked me and walked off, carrying his tiny case like it contained something perfectly normal. Pleb turned to me with all 3 of his eye stalks. This is going to be a disaster, he said. Probably, I agreed. But the rules are the rules. What's the worst that could happen? It's a tiny Earth predator at an exhibition full of actual monsters. It'll be embarrassing for them, but ultimately harmless. Famous last words. I should get those engraved on my tombstone. Right under Vrix the Naive. The next 2 hours passed without incident. The Doom Render cleared its preliminary evaluation by successfully intimidating the entire judging panel. The Thunder Beast demonstrated its electrical capabilities by accidentally shorting out 3 power conduits. Standard stuff. Exactly what we'd expected. Then Staging Area 7 called for clearance to bring out the human entry, and everything went sideways. The main exhibition floor had approximately 3,000 spectators from 47 different species. All of them waiting to see what the humans, who had been making quite a name for themselves since joining the Galactic community, had brought to compete against the finest killing machines in known space. I stood at my coordinator station, monitoring the feeds, when Captain Webb entered the arena. The crowd went silent. Then they started laughing. I could hear it through the audio pickups. The Kraliks were doing that hissing thing they do when amused. The Volturi were crackling with what I assume was mirth. Even the stoic Nimbari were emanating feelings of confusion mixed with entertainment. Webb set the carrier down in the center of the exhibition circle and opened the front gate. For a moment, nothing happened. The crowd leaned forward. Camera drones zoomed in, then she emerged. I'll be honest. My first thought was, that's actually kind of cute. Small, maybe 4 kilograms, covered in orange and white fur with these big round eyes. It sat down, looked around at the assembled audience of thousands, and began licking its paw with complete disinterest. The crowd absolutely lost it. The laughter was deafening. The Kralik's handler was doubled over, his Doom Render looking confused by its master's reaction. I saw several Volturi actually spark with amusement, which is their version of crying with laughter. Webb just stood there, arms crossed, still wearing that smile. That should have been my second warning sign. The first was him showing up at all. The second was him looking completely calm, while the entire galaxy laughed at his entry. Ladies, gentlemen, and honored guests, the announcer's voice boomed across the exhibition hall. The human entry, designated as Whiskers. More laughter. Someone in the back shouted something about humans not understanding the assignment. Even I had to admit, this was ridiculous. The judging panel looked at me through the coordinator booth window. I shrugged. What could I do? They'd followed the rules, technically speaking. Then Whiskers stopped licking her paw. Her ears went back, flat against her head. Her pupils dilated to complete blackness. And she made a sound. It started low. A rumbling that the audio pickups barely registered at first. Then it grew. Not louder, exactly, but more present. More there. It bypassed the ears entirely and went straight into something primal in the brain. Something that every species in that hall shared despite our evolutionary differences. The prey instinct. The thing that says run, hide, survive. The laughter died. Just stopped, like someone had hit a mute button on 3,000 beings simultaneously. Whiskers stood up. Her back arched. Her tail puffed out to twice its normal size. And she hissed. That's when the panic started. The Kralik's handler's Doom Render, this creature that had terrorized its home planet's ecosystem for millions of years, took one look at Whiskers and tried to climb its handler. All 300 kilograms of acid-spitting nightmare decided that up was the only acceptable direction. The handler went down under the weight, shouting in alarm. The Thunder Beast released every volt of stored electricity in a single burst. Not at Whiskers. Just out, in every direction, in what I can only describe as a fear response. Half the lighting grid exploded. Spectators scattered, screaming. Emergency shields activated across 12 different seating sections. The Nimbari's mind shredder, that perfectly evolved psychic predator, broadcast sheer terror across every telepathic frequency. I felt it, and I'm not even telepathic. Pleb collapsed next to me, all three eye stalks retracting into his head, whimpering about ancient death and small orange demons. Whiskers took 3 steps forward. Just 3 casual, deliberate steps. Every creature in that exhibition hall moved back. Some broke their containment fields running. The Volturi delegation's Thunder Beast smashed through a wall to escape. Actual structural damage. The station's emergency alarms started blaring. Captain Webb, I shouted into my communicator, my voice probably 3 octaves higher than professional. Control your animal. Now. Webb looked up at the coordinator booth, gave me a casual wave, then reached down and picked up Whiskers. She immediately went limp, dangling from his hands, looking completely harmless again. He scratched under her chin. She started making a different sound, this weird rumbling purr that somehow seemed more ominous than the hiss. She's friendly, Webb called out to the panicking crowd. Mostly. Just doesn't like loud noises or crowds. Gets a bit anxious, you know. The exhibition hall was emptying faster than a breached airlock. Species that had evolved on opposite ends of the galaxy, that had never agreed on anything in recorded history, were united in their desperate need to be anywhere else. The judging panel had fled. My entire coordination staff had fled. Even the automated camera drones seemed to be retreating to safe distances. I watched through my monitor, as Webb calmly placed Whiskers back in her carrier, closed the gate, and picked up the case. He walked toward the exit, passing through the wreckage of what had been, 20 minutes ago, a properly organized event. My communicator buzzed. It was the station commander. Vrix, what in the name of the founders just happened? I have reports of mass evacuation, structural damage, and something about a small orange apocalypse beast. I watched Webb leave the exhibition hall, whistling some human tune, swinging the carrier gently. Through the transparent side, I could see Whiskers had curled up and appeared to be sleeping. Sir, I said slowly, I think the humans just won the competition. By default. Because everyone else has left the planet. The humans brought what, exactly? They call it a housecat, sir. Apparently, they keep these as pets. In their homes. Around their children. There was a long silence on the other end. Then, Vrix, I need you to update our xenobiology threat assessment on humans. Immediately. Any species that domesticated that thing is officially terrifying. The final ruling came through 3 hours later, after the station had been cleared and deemed safe for re-entry. Captain Marcus Webb and Whiskers were declared winners of the 13th annual Galactic Pet Exhibition. The Stellar Crown was delivered to their ship by drone, because nobody wanted to present it in person. The rules for next year's competition were already being rewritten. New categories, size requirements, mandatory sedation protocols, and a special clause specifically banning Earth cats. I submitted my incident report and requested a long vacation. Pleb was already in medical, being treated for psychic trauma despite not being psychic, and somewhere in the docking bay, aboard a human vessel, a 4-kilogram orange and white cat was probably napping, completely unaware that she'd just redefined the galaxy's understanding of the word predator, humans. They're either the bravest species in existence, or the most insane. Possibly both. Definitely both. And they let those things sleep on their beds. I need a drink. Or 12. Hello everyone. If you are enjoying this video and finding it helpful, don't forget to support our channel. Please subscribe to our channel, press the like button, and share this video with your friends and family. Also, make sure to turn on the notification bell so you never miss our upcoming videos. We regularly upload amazing, informative, and entertaining content just for you. Your support means a lot to us and motivates us to bring even better content in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and welcome to our growing community.